And the Lord said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Hello, g'day, welcome. Hopefully you can all hear me okay, and everything's looking better than it was last week when it was Ghost Deno. And we've got the pallet cam back. Sort of. I haven't figured out how to flip it. It's actually the wrong way. So this is me moving from here across, and it goes the other way. It should be going the opposite direction, but Ghoul Studio's just rocked up. Hello, Ghoul Studio. I'm in a new studio right now. It's pretty cool, actually. I can do all sorts of awesome stuff. I'll tell you a story that I've had to do though. I've had to rejig my setup, so I've now actually got my airbrush right here in a little spot, like it's a holster, ready to shoot. But because of that, I can't easily access the switch to turn it on or off. And so what I have to do is turn it on with Alexa. Hey Alexa, airbrush on. And we're underway. That's the only way I could figure out to fix it. Alexa, airbrush off. But the good news is that everything in this area is now set up and we're starting to get some semblance of normality. I've got a lot of models that are out and about, but we're gonna make some headway on those. So this is the model we're painting today. My hairdryer's working too. Yes, this is the model we're painting today. So this is from my diorama, and this is a big scary ghost lady. It's been a long time since we talked about the diorama, and for people that are new from Ghoul Studios Raid, this one's from Kimera Models. I have a tendency to go pretty crazy and make big dioramas. I've averaged about one a year for the last few years, sometimes two. So they look like this. This is one from a few years ago where I used Big Child Creatives figures from the King Arthur range. There's Mordred and Arthur facing off with the Grail. Lady of the Lake, Uther Pendragon, Merlin vs Morgana with the Green Knight. Yeah, so I'm pretty proud of that diorama actually. Pretty proud of it. Thank you, yeah, small one. I also did this one, this was the next big one I did, I think. These figures are from Aradia and Kimera. This is a combination of Aradia and Kimera. And this one was really cool. I like that polar bear rider. Yeah. Anyway, so I've got another one underway at the moment, and this model is from that. This one's taken a little bit longer than I would have liked. I've got a few figures done from it already. We're starting to get there. Actually, I think we're starting to find our feet again. So I'll show off some of the ones I've got ready. The larger part of what's going to take time is the base and the backdrop, but my girlfriend's dad's provided me with a very large amount of moss, so and stuff. So this is a necromancer. He's raising necromancy. This is a female priestess that's protecting a church. Where is the church actually? Yeah, the church is over there. You can't see it, it's in the background. And then we've got this guy also protecting the church. Big Bopper. He's pretty fun. And this, yeah, Mossy's Moss, we're calling it. And yes, so that's sort of where we're at. We've got a lot of figures to go. I think I've got another 12 or something. It's going to be the biggest diorama. Yes, they are a lot of time to build. I got one more I'll show you. I've got Neon Knights as well, so I'll play that one. This one's got music, so I apologise in advance. And this one lights up. And it's also great under a black light. I wrote hidden messages. It's got a screen that changes stitches too. It's great. What an epic piece. Can you believe I did that last year? That was awesome. That was so fun. It is, yes. I do actually really love sci-fi. I'd love to do like a Star Wars diorama like that one time using Shatterpoint models maybe. Oh, I can actually speak about that now. So yeah, there's a new board game coming to Kickstarter from Mindworks Games. You've probably seen a few bits and pieces advertised about it. Yeah, so I've got some of the models to paint. Might even do a video actually of those. Like instead of I'll stream, but then I'll use a video. I'll use the stream for a video. Yeah, they're post-apocalyptic figures. They look very similar to my Dorothy diorama. Let's be real right now. I have done a lot of crazy projects. I've done a lot of crazy big projects. Alright, appreciate that, Ghoul. Thank you for the raid. Everyone should go follow Ghoul. I'm not very good at streaming, mate, so I apologise. But thank you for raiding. It's a hard gig. It's tough going. Yeah, so this move into this studio has been a long process, but we're finally now at the point where things are starting to work. I think everything seems to be working as intended, and the only thing I've got left to do now is I've got to organise my shelf space. I've got a lot of shelf space that has a lot of toys and a lot of stuff that I haven't organised. So that's what I've got to do next. But that feels to me like a job for another time. I think I need to get into the space and using the space so I can know exactly what I want to do with it. So everything's a bit of a mess. mean, it's organised-ish. I should really do some more sci-fi models. I got a couple over there that I'm excited for. Sienna Starkiller, which is also another big child's model. Great model. Looking forward to doing that. This is a whole big room which has got my gaming table behind me. Hey Alexa, it's game time. Should be able to see that in the background. So there's the games shelf and the games table. And then I've got my cabinet over the other side, which has all my display models in it, which you can't see it. We are in Santium, yes. And yeah, it's a big room. So we've got cabinets over this side. I did a little tour of it in the last stream, so you can go and have a look at that if you would like. Not the last stream, one before last. Yeah. So that's exciting. Hey Alexa, game over. I'm getting right into home automation at the moment. Smart homes. You can do some crazy stuff. You can do crazy stuff. I don't want to do crazy stuff. I just want to have a little bit of easy stuff, so that everything works. The main thing that I want when I walk into this space, I want to be able to just go, bang, I'm ready to go. I don't have to, yeah, I don't have to turn on 15 different things. I can just say one command word and that will automatically turn everything on and we're ready to go. That's what I want. Thank you. Yes. No, it does make me a super nerd though. Yeah, it has been a very long time since I showcased what this diorama looks like, and it's probably worthwhile for me to actually go and have another reminder. Don't worry, I took it that way. I've got a picture of it somewhere. Let me see if I can bring that up. Been a while, but be good for me to see it as well, I think. Whoa, I got lots of pictures from here. Yeah, Mossy would do that, I think. She already came in here and was messing around with stuff. You can actually get Alexa to straight up when you walk into the room turn lights on. I had that on, but I was getting annoyed because I'd walk out and I'd be like, turn the game room off, and then it'd turn back on when I closed the door. So, oh, we got a visitor. We got a visitor. Yeah, I can't see. I'll have to find that picture elsewhere. Ellie. Hey, come here. You want to say hello to everyone? We've got a big friend. This is Ellie. Hi, everyone. Hi, I'm Ellie. That's our new dog.
Emma's new dog.
Emma's new dog, even though she's refusing to tell her to get off the couch, aren't ya? Aren't ya?
I'm the boss.
She's as big as she's gonna get. She's not a tiny. Hey, what are you doing? She's not getting any bigger. We hope. But yeah, we'll set up an Ellie cam at some point. She'll probably be hanging out. Yeah, she probably did. So, you don't tell me what to do. No, she's very, very sweet demeanour. Which is good in a big dog. Alright, so let's talk about this particular model in the diorama. So the diorama is a scene of an ancient church adjoining a graveyard, overlooking a graveyard even. And in the ancient church, it's about to be overrun by an undead horde. And so we have a whole pile of good warriors, which are the ones I've painted already, trying to defend the church. And then all of the bad guys are swarming up to try and take the church. Why are they taking the church? We're not sure. We haven't got that far. But this is one of the bad guys, obviously. There's a mausoleum, a crypt down the bottom, and this chick is floating above the mausoleum. So she's a pretty highly visible component of the scene. And so that means we need to ensure that she is effective, well painted. It's important that they're all well painted, obviously. A diorama is often offset by the strength of its worst piece. You know, if you have a piece that's not well painted on a diorama, everyone sees that, and it will let the whole piece down. And I just decided to airbrush green and then try painting over it. I haven't really done that before, but yeah. Am I planning on having it done for September? I am planning on having it done for Guilds Inn, which is at the very end of August. That's my goal at this point in time. But I've got those Mindworks figures, which the Kickstarter's coming soon, so I'll need to prioritise some time on them. And I got another commission for a couple of figures that'll be coming up soon. And then, yeah, we've got the Dragon Eclipse models that I want to finish. So, yeah, I'm not putting any pressure on myself, but I would very much like to have it done for Guilds Inn. And that's my goal at this stage. Yeah. Are you coming to Guilds Inn? That's all right. End of August. I would highly recommend coming along to Guilds, even as a beginner, to get yourself some inspiration, because it's a wonderful experience going to a painting event and seeing how amazing this hobby can be. Not because of my works, but because of people who are actually good. The Liams and Colwells and Buxes of the world. We're going to set up Ellie Cam, Mossy. So yes, I highly recommend coming along, even if you are just a beginner. There is a category for people that are new called Standard, if you wanted to enter some of your works, but even if you don't, it'll be a wonderful experience to just come along and check it out. In Delta, no, this is not the Grey Seer. This is a figure from Kimera, whose name escapes me at the moment, actually. I can't remember. And it's from a big diorama that I'm doing. So yeah, this is obviously an old ghost type creature, so we're going to be going for a more rusty looking metal than we are shiny. Ellie. Shouldn't need to do too much of this because this is the back and it won't be visible from the front, but it may be visible from the side a little bit, so we'll do some. So one of the challenges with a diorama like this is lighting and being able to visualize where the light is across the scene can be really challenging. And sometimes, including when I painted the crypt mausoleum that this particular creature is floating above, I painted the wrong side. I put all my time and effort into painting it and I painted the wrong sides. So it looks a little bit askew. So I haven't quite fixed that yet. We will. So I figure this is like a incorporeal ghost. So I want it to sort of feel unholy, but I don't want it to be like a ghost that just is glowing and is translucent and see-through. I want it to feel somewhat corporeal so that we can get some... Because what's a ghost going to do in a fight, realistically? Fight is a fuck all. I don't usually strip stuff, Gary. I can usually recover it in other ways. If you're not really happy with how a section's looking, just whip out the airbrush, add some contrast paints or inks over the top of it, and it'll mute that whole sort of area down, and it sort of makes the work that you did not wasted. So you can sort of get around it. Yeah, it's been a... Hey, look, 12 months ago was one of the most stressful times of my life, and I think when I look back on the fact that I was not focused on this project, or really felt quite stressed, I think it's probably okay to provide myself some acceptance for that. It was a really challenging time. But yeah, to be here now, new house, job that I'm loving, and I've been successful in getting through my probationary period, which is great because I bought a house. But yeah, it feels really good and relieving. The world works in mysterious ways. Okay, now what we're going to do is try and make this a little more rusty and crazy looking, and I might use some Dirty Down. I've enjoyed this product. A lot. Water soluble, great. Why do you have to heat it? What does that do? Serious question, I've no idea. Does that do something? Really? Cool. Now I use this a lot on the Neon Nights project, and yeah, had a really positive experience with it, and I've sort of started using it maybe a little bit too much. It's a no, Serenlol, you ask as many questions as you want. That's why we're here. This is actually not a contrast paint, although I do have two contrast paints open right here that I'm about to use as well. This is a product called Dirty Down, and it's a water-soluble rust effect that actually does a really nice job of creating texture as well. It's not, I wouldn't use it on everything, but it's got some really, really nice effect. If you have a look at this as the lid of it, you can sort of see it's got this gritty texture. So yeah, if you shake it properly and well enough, it will leave a really nice rust texture. So yeah, it can be really cool. Hey Alexa, airbrush on. It does, yeah, it has. So the effect that it's given here is kind of like a contrast paint, right? You can get away with a contrast paint doing what I've just done there. And I haven't really utilized it for its textural thing. I didn't mix it enough. But yeah, if you want, and if you look at the Neon Nights diorama that I showed a bit before, yeah, you can see it has a really incredible look. I actually used it a lot on the church, the church as well. So. Hey Alexa, airbrush off. I don't know if that's going to work long term. I don't. But I do think that's pretty cool. Okay, let's do a little bit of skin. Good work. Yeah, hey, good product. Good product. Highly recommend it.
It sounds like you're interested in knowing about good products that are currently popular or innovative in 2025. Here's a breakdown of some trending and noteworthy products across different categories.
That's from Gemini. I don't need your help, Gemini. Serenlo, I really like using contrast as well, and I do know how to shade. So there's a really weird perspective in the community, display painter community, kind of, that contrast paints aren't good for real serious painters. That they're just for amateurs, noob painters, as it were. I fundamentally disagree with that perspective. I use them all the time. I use them through my airbrush. I use them to create shadows and depth. I really think they are exceptional products. I'm not sure who manufactures it actually. I don't think it's Vallejo. I think it's just some other company. Some random. Um, yeah, there you go. Hmm. Yeah, the contrast paints do incredible work at creating kind of the right level of contrast you need for non-metallic metals. Oh yeah, I have probably three or four favorites. Snakebite leather is incredible. I use it pretty much every project. Um, Volupus pink is a really good one for creating some nice skin tone colours. Nasdreg yellow, really good for gold. Pterodon turquoise is a lovely colour that I probably am too attached to. Nasdreg yellow. I might need to get the diorama over here to put it on the shelf to have a look at things. Haha, Jan. Long time no speak, my friend. Jan the man. Enjoy. Thanks, Incentium. Hey, Jan. Don't make it sad. Paint some models and you'll feel better. Hope you are well also, mate. Yes, it's been a long time, but things are going okay for me. Looking forward to getting back into slightly more regular streaming now that I've moved into a new house. Good for you, mate. Enjoy, rest well. Another beautiful day ahead tomorrow. Na, 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 na. Hey, Jude. There's been a really interesting evolution in the way that I paint in the last few years. Really interesting. Like when I look back at some of my stuff that I did 3 or 4 years ago, I think to myself, wow, I was a lot better back then. And I believe that. I believe I was. But what I think I've got now is a much better handle on how I want to place paint and how I want to create a story. You know, the stuff that I can crank out in a few hours now is really pleasing. And it makes me happy to look at. So I'm not sure what's actually better. Thanks, Soren Lol. Ivory, ice yellow, ivory. this one should make it look like metal. It's usually not until the very last highlights with non-metallic metal that you start to go, oh, that's actually looking pretty much like metal. Certainly the way I paint it. Peaches, 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 peaches. Hmm. So the general way that I paint is, I like to call it over contrast and under deliver. That's not really what I call it, but that's often how I perceive it in my head. Because what I like to do at the end is use a little bit of airbrushing to harmonize and bring things together. And when you do that, it does tend to reduce the overall amount of contrast that you have. Contrast being the difference between light and dark elements. And so when I'm painting, I kind of try to have a very discernible light and dark. So over contrasted. With the intent that when I airbrush it all, that will come down and generally it does. It's a really good question, Ugly. It doesn't happen often, but does happen. I think the most important thing with that sort of approach, with painting like that, is just that remembering that it's very, very easy to go a little bit too heavy with the airbrush, and so you're far better off building up 10 layers that are a little bit too thin rather than building up one layer that's too thick. So that's the way you prevent it from happening. But when it does happening, the other thing to remember is it's probably okay. You know, you can still go back in with a brush, you can still rejig it. It doesn't usually ruin the work that you've done. It usually just means you have to re-add contrast because you've gone a little bit too heavy. Usually. So I was travelling for work this week, and as often the case when I'm sitting in a hotel room, I found myself flicking channels and landed upon a movie that I had not watched and decided to watch. And it was called Kong vs. Godzilla, The New World. I think that was what it was called. And it was about King Kong and Godzilla fighting together against another bad version of Kong in an underground hollow earth world. And it reminded me of another movie that I watched that I actually love, which is called Pacific Rim. The thing about Pacific Rim is it is a very bad movie. There is a lot of elements of Pacific Rim that make very little sense. But the thing to remember about it is that it is, at its heart, just a really cool movie about big robots fighting big monsters. And so when I was watching this Kong v fucking Godzilla thing, I was thinking to myself, this is a tragically bad movie. And I watched it the whole way through and I loved it. And I think that's how I feel about my painting. It's bad, but I love it. And there will be purists out there that go, this is a terrible paint job. As there are purists out there who go, this is a terrible movie. But as long as you have fun, and so what I'm doing right now is using an ink. This is a white ink from Liquitex. And it's a technique I've been wanting to try more. where I use the white ink in the recesses a lot, and then I'm going to hit some colour over the top of that should pop off. Should. I had completely missed at the cinemas that the fact that there was all these new King Kong and Godzilla movies out. I don't know why. But there's like 6 of them now. I've been playing a board game a lot in the last few weeks called Ashes Reborn Rise of the Phoenix Born. And it is originally a 2-player competitive card game in the vein of like Magic. But they released a PvE, or player versus environment, version of it, which is awesome, and I've been playing the shit out of it. Like 50 fucking games of it in the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Actually, I have a couple of figures that I want to do a little tiny diorama with, because I was packing the other day and then I unpacked and I was looking through our models and I was thinking, I kind of forgot about that little intent, that little diorama plan. But I bought a number of little blacksmith figures from the world of Jean-Baptiste Monge. They were really cool little, I don't know, like little gnomes and little guys in this Victorian era world. Some great models. And I just want to do a real compact scene with some really weird angles in like a Victorian street, back streets kind of vibe. Alright, as always, it's important to look back here. Cool. I might grab them down because they're super cool models. Yeah, it's got 3 of them. And I reckon it'd be really cool to do just a little diorama with these crazy little dudes. That guy's got a mice on his head. This guy's got his bulldog. So yeah, I want to do a little tiny scene that, you know, let's maybe sketch it out a little bit on here. Yeah, so I just want to have it on a very like square base. Maybe slightly rectangular, like this sort of base. But then I want to do some weird angles, so I want to have like a street going across here with like some little steps out here. And then like a window ledge up here, or a roof, overhanging roof type of dealio. Lots of like pipes and stuff on the wall there. And then on this side have like another street angled like this maybe. Or maybe even do something like that where we've got a zigzag shape. So this is like kind of just so it looks very, very compressed. You know, like you've got to actually that's what I should do. If I was to draw it out like this, I should go like this. Yeah, that's how I'll do it. That'll be cool, I reckon. I've got so many ideas and so little time. It would be cool to do this professionally. Just get up and I'm going to make a diorama today. Bang. You're underway. Do it. Alright, the fabrics. Let's go with a greens. Complementary colour is red. I don't think I want to go with red for this. If we stick with secondary colours and go with purple, that's probably the right call. Let's use this lilac. And dive into some lilac fabric over the top of this green. Yes, that is the ticket. Once again, Deno, good headway in this time frame. Does anyone else ever sit there and on occasion the only thing that pops into your head is Pedro Pascal talking to Tyrion Lannister in the dungeons? He goes, "I will be your champion." Fuck me. I get shivers every time I think about that. Ooh. G'day, Insantium. Welcome back. You missed very little, as all I did was continue painting, occasionally talking about stuff that is not really relevant, and that's basically it. That's basically all I'm doing. That's basically all I ever do. Uh-oh. I hear sounds of a friend coming to visit. Are you coming to visit, friend? Staying away for the moment. No, here she is. Hello, Ellie. Hello. Hello, Plank. Yeah, Joe Abercrombie's new book got some good reviews. What new game you got coming? Hey, you're a good girl. Good girl. Want more pats? Every time she stops patting, she puts her hand on me like this. Come and pat me. What are you doing, Moss? Plank, doing well. New house is wonderful. Yeah, it's an adjustment. Like, it's a big house. I have to do a pool. I have to fix my pool. I wonder what's wobbling there.
Me?
I'm just trying to decide if the table's wobbling or the camera's wobbling. Feels like the camera.
Maybe it's your eyes.
That's funny, Emma. Can you take your dog, please? Loot Studios Malediction. Cool. Didn't even know they were doing a game. Mindworks definitely is though. And I know because I'm doing it. Doing some figures from it. It's going to be sick. Peaches, 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 peaches. Potentially got room for a 3D printer in this space. Here in this games room, theatre room, toy room, whatever you want to call it. Earthborn Rangers, yes. Yeah, the new expansion, Legacy of the Kings, Legacy of the Ancestors. There we go. Is yeah, that's going to hit the table as soon as it arrives for me as well. Do you have a link to Old King's Crown? I've not even heard of that. I'm really looking forward to Grim Coven. That's pretty much the only major one I've got coming this year. I've got the expansions for Leviathan Wilds, the expansion for Earthborn Rangers, the expansion for Euthia. They're all coming. There's a little bug flying around. It's annoying the shit out of me. And of course, the biggest and most exciting one is the latest Kingdom Death models, which will also get a run very quickly in the painting stakes. I think we've got the Pariah and the Red Witches. Is that all? Is that all that's coming in this wave? I can't remember. Was supposed to be Screaming God as well. The Old King's Crown. Ooh, cool. Who's the artist? That is awesome. Art looks like the same as Earthborn Rangers guy, maybe. Huh. Wonder how I missed this one. Looks great. Jealous. Some paint in my mouth like a pest. G'day, Gone Beyond One. Yeah, wow. Well, it's got Cole Worley's review right at the top, and that guy's made some fucking epic games, so... This will hopefully, in a little while... Whoa! That is a big day. Yeah, I'm really ready to do some airbrushing, just clean up a lot of this stuff. It all looks a little bit messy, but that's okay. I guess the vibe is undead. Bit messy is okay. us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. We're all in the mood for a melody. Oh la da 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 da. La da 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 dum. Boom, boom, boom. I might actually do some airbrushing. Hey Alexa, airbrush on. Thanks. As I said, I'm not sure it's good. I'm not sure it's going to work. But it was the only thing I could figure out to stop the, or position the airbrush. The airbrush is now underneath my table, so you should be able to hear it less. And I need to brace that maybe. And that's meant I've been able to position the cable out of the way, and everything feels a lot neater, more organised here, but the downside is I can't reach the plug. So this was my solution. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Alright, now I reckon we can do a little bit of greeny, glowy sort of colours. So to get a really vibrant green, which is what I want, I'm going to mix two contrast paints together, cyan and yellow, and a tiny bit of warp lightning green. And that should make for a very vibrant green. This is all Mank sculpting there, by the way. Absolutely top grade stuff. Looking cool, Dano. Looking cool. Hey Alexa, airbrush off. Hey Alexa, airbrush off. Thank you. There's even an automation that I could do, which is I could have a contact sensor in the airbrush section, and I could have it when the airbrush is in there that it's off, and when I pull the airbrush out, it turns on. I reckon I could try that. I don't think I will though, because it's just getting crazy. So we might go up to ice yellow highlights perhaps on this area. Not sure. So I think we started with the greenish tones across the whole model, and I think it's worked pretty well to just kind of see those around in underneath and in behind areas. I think that's worked pretty well. So a really important question that I need to answer, and I'd like your assistance, those who are viewing right now. I feel like this figure would look really awesome with some dirt and some like grimy stripes along this flowing fabric. I feel like that ties in with the theme and the rest of the piece. However, as I discussed very early on, this ghost is incorporeal. So, does that work? Should we do dirty fabric patterns and dirt splotches, or do we leave that off? Stains. Yeah, that's probably a good call. Not dirt. Yeah, stains I can reconcile. Good response. Thanks, Tea Time with Toby. Okay. That is pretty cool. Let's do some stains. the green or the cloak. Because the green was not airbrush, the cloak, elements of it were airbrush, but elements of it were brush. And the way that I paint, it's generally a combination of the two things. Yep, no, the green was just brush. I've done this pretty much all on stream. If you want to, you can rewind and you can see this has all been done in the last, what are we at, hour and 45 minutes. No, it's just practice, my friend. Just been doing this type of style or this painting for a long time, so just makes me pretty quick. I'll tell you one thing that actually I think people need to appreciate more about my painting is how often I use a hairdryer and how much impact I think that actually has on the overall speed of what I do. Like, as an example, what I just did then was using pretty translucent paint. But I laid it on quite thick. Thank you, Plank. Checks in the mail. No, I do acknowledge that I have a ability to read information very quickly and absorb it and respond, and I can do that whilst multitasking this. That's a thing that I can do. So I actually struggle to watch other streamers often, and the reason why is because, that's not necessarily a criticism on other streamers in general, but they have a tendency to focus on interacting rather than painting, and I mean I think that's probably the right thing to do, you know. But I watch people who stream miniature painting so that I can watch miniature painting. So I'm always very cognizant of, if I am going to get on here, thanks mate, if I am going to get on here and do some stuff, I want it to be, me painting. I, I didn't do the second one just to flex, but I was thinking, I wonder if I can do it as well the second time. And the answer is yes, I can. See you, Doms. Have a great day, mate. So this is where I fall down with freehand. I can do straight lines, I can do circles, I can do designs, but then I never really know what to paint, and I always feel like it just doesn't look good. Probably just need to have an idea before I go in. All right. Hello, Crypt Shadow. Hey Alexa, airbrush on. I'm well, Crypt Shadow, thank you. How are you? Thank you. Yes, just happened so I could put my compressor out of the way. Yeah. All right, we'll do a little tricky airbrush, fancy airbrush technique now. Just after I finish this green. So this is a fun airbrush technique that doesn't actually require an awful lot of skill, but it makes you look like a pro. So I'm going to explain it nice and slow. And Mossy's on her way out, rock and roll. All right, here we go. Let's have a look. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to put a tiny little drop of my thinner. And then we're going to put some of this contrast paint that we're going to knock over. Now we're going to pop some contrast paint in there. Mix it around. Beautiful. So far, Very simple. Then, what we're going to do is instead of pushing air down and then pulling back, we're going to pull back. And what that does is it loads the cup with paint. And then we're just going to put a burst of air on. And what that does, which you can probably see, is it shoots out little spots. And there you go. That is a way to get spatter. You can use that for blood spatter. You can use it for all sorts of things. Pretty easy. You generally want to do it with thicker paint. Tends to work better with thicker paint. Hey Alexa, airbrush off. That's pretty fun. Heading off, Moss?
I shut the door.
For outside?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be finishing up here soon, so I'll open it up. Hooroo, Cobber! Alright, well, it's been a fun little paint on this guy. Our dog is upset that Mossy's leaving. Hasn't quite realised that I'm still here. how long it'll take her to figure out. Alright, well, this has been a really fun little paint job, and I am happy with how it's come out. But I'm going to have to go and help our poor little dog before she has a meltdown that Mossie's gone. Ellie, come here. You don't need to be sad, I'm still here. Okay? Alright friends, that'll do us for today. What a cool paint job. We'll tweak a little bit more with that, but that's going to go on the back of the diorama right near our little crypt. So, yes, very good indeed. Alright. Tomorrow, we're back for Party Monday, and I think we're going to try painting either a skeleton or maybe this big boy. Thank you. Yes. I reckon this big boy might be the go. We might try painting this fella. So, cool. Alright, that's tomorrow night. I'll catch you all then. Have a fantastic week. Big Tanner.